All right. It's butt crack of dawn on Sunday morning. My kids are still in bed, which makes it the perfect time to talk about courage. And I have to admit, my courage has wavered a little over the last few years. Not in everything I do. Lots of things I've got lots of courage, and I'm following through with all kinds of stuff that's difficult and all that. But I've really backed off on sharing my philosophy with the world. Because I started, which took some courage, and it was hard to do at first because it's hard to share your that much of yourself with the world because it makes you vulnerable and all that. And then somewhere along the line, it just seemed like a lot of people were misinterpreting everything I said, and even more people just didn't want to hear it. So I just kind of backed off. And then last week, this guy was telling me this story about how he tried to move off grid, or he did move off grid. And he ran into some obstacles, and he ended up giving up, and it didn't work out. So he had the courage to go out there and do it and give it a try, but yeah, it didn't work out. So and I just thought, well, courage is made up of love and strength, at least in the Adventure Builders Club philosophy. You need love and strength to combine into courage, and that's where you get your real courage. Because it's one thing to follow your heart, do what you love. You got to have courage to take that less traveled path. But then when you run into obstacles, you have to have the strength to keep going, right? And so it made me think of this thing that I've backed off on because it got difficult, because I don't see the path forward where I'm really having a positive impact on people. And for all I know, I'm having a positive impact on tons of people who just aren't necessarily telling me, or which is fine. I don't think they should. I think they should be out doing their thing rather than talking about it, which is great. So, this is the way that I think about it, or this is an example, a metaphor to kind of put it into perspective that I was thinking about while I was half asleep this morning. Like right now, I can't see how it gets better, and this is one of the problems when you're trying to go down a path and you can't see forward. It's like you get stuck and it's easy to give up. But say you're driving down a highway, a super highway with all the people, and all the people are driving down this highway, and everyone's doing the same thing. But then you say, my heart's telling me I need to get off the highway and take this little path down here. So you turn off the highway because you have sufficient courage to get off the main highway with everyone else and go off on your own path. So you start driving down this road, and you can go through all kinds of scary stuff. You can drive through the mountains, and there's like a sheer cliff down that side and a sheer cliff up this side. But as long as your road's smooth, you can keep going, no problem. And then you come up to a spot where there's a tree that's fallen in the road. Huge tree, big huge tree, just fell in the road. And you come up to it, and it's like, it is literally impossible for me to drive through this tree, over this tree, under this tree, around this tree. There's no way for me to get my car around or over. I can't get through. It's impossible. So the obvious thing to do is to back up and do a 3-point turn around and go back and try to find another way. The problem is, if every time you come up against an obstacle like that looks impossible at first glance, you turn around and go back, you just end up on the highway with everyone else, which is a choice you can make. But if your heart's telling you want to go down these other some lesser traveled path, you're really selling yourself out. Now, say you have the same scenario, but when you drive off onto the little path, you say, I need to have more courage than just starting. I need to guarantee that I'm not going to back off. So I'm going to throw a bunch of grenades in the back of my trunk, and I'm going to set them to drop one every mile and destroy the road behind me. So then as you're driving along, you're erasing the road behind you. There's no going back. And then when you get to this tree that's laying in the road, instead of turning around, because there's nowhere to go. The only place you have to go is now somehow through this impossible obstacle. So you get out of your car, and you start looking at the tree, and you're like, what? There's no way to get around this or through this. I can't try. I gotta start thinking though. I gotta somehow have a relationship with this tree. Okay, tree, we somehow gotta work together here. And then when you really start looking at the obstacle, you realize, wait a minute, this isn't just an obstacle, as many obstacles are not. They're often not just obstacles. This is an opportunity. This is firewood. This is boards. This is a ladder. This is a lever. This is a ramp to get over the next obstacle. So you get out your chainsaw or your whatever you've got and cut it up or do whatever, and you realize, I don't need to get rid of this thing. I need to take as much of that with me as possible because this is useful stuff. And this is just that change in perspective is what happens when you really commit to something. Because what looks like an impossible obstacle, often when you really look at it and say, okay, I have to deal with this. There is no other way to, I absolutely have to deal with this. You often find that it's not actually an impossible obstacle. It's some kind of great opportunity. And not all obstacles are like that. Some obstacles you really do have to just plow through or get them out of the way or do whatever you have to do. Or sometimes you really do have to go a different way. But so many obstacles are really just opportunities that look really bad when you first see them. So I'm thinking, maybe I just need to commit to doing this sharing this philosophy thing again. Get back to it. Not even again, because obviously if I backed off on it once, I didn't really commit to it before. So maybe I just need to commit to it more and just keep doing it and not worry about the final results. Because the final results are going to take care of themselves. All I can really do is take care of every step of the path that I'm on and trust that I'm going to get somewhere. The results are going to take care of themselves. All I can do is do my best and have the courage to keep going along the path that feels like the right thing to do. And that's adventure builder courage right there.